What happens when we police gender like this? When we pass laws banning trans people from bathrooms, banning trans people from sports, taking away our gender, our
life will go back to the way it's supposed to be.
It doesn't just affect trans people. The effect on trans people is real and serious, but it affects non-trans people too. None of us are woman enough in imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy. None of us are woman enough by these standards. All of our gender is going to be policed. And if you cannot be woman enough or man enough, then it's all a social construct.
That's a reach.
These conversations that hit.
When do we ever have to worry about gender being policed outside of this transgender, non-binary debacle right now? When do we ever have to worry about gender being policed? We don't. And life will be for the better for everybody if women can go to women-only bathrooms, trans can go to trans-only bathrooms, men go to men-only bathrooms. Women are allowed to compete against women, men are allowed to compete against men, and trans people are allowed to compete against trans people. We won't have any problems.
And these conversations that pit non-trans women, cis women, whatever language you want to use, assigned female at birth people against trans women. These conversations they divide and they conquer, and then we do not work in solidarity with each other. We need to be working together. I had the privilege last week of doing a panel discussion with a Hardness Foundation that looked at the relationship between gender affirming care and reproductive rights. Both are about bodily autonomy. These things are linked and they are connected. Why in the world are we having conversations about who owns menstruation? It is utterly ridiculous. And for the record, me as a trans woman, menstruation is none of my business. Who menstruates, how they menstruate, it's none of my business. I'm really happy. I love being a trans woman so much because I don't menstruate and I can't get pregnant. These are things that I'm very happy are not a part of the things that I have to deal with as a woman. My womanhood is not in question for me. I can have a conversation about womanhood because I'm living that. I'm not interested in a conversation about menstruation, and most trans women aren't. Most trans women aren't.
See there, that was an excellent opportunity to hold your fellow trans friend accountable. You're just deflecting. You are separating yourself from what most women, the majority of women, are having the biggest problem with, is you trying to bogart womanhood. Right? That was an excellent opportunity to just say, hey, what she said was wrong. We don't know nothing about periods, menstruation, none of that. She had no right to say what she was saying. She was wrong. All you want to do is minimize the impact that video was having for a lot of people, right? A lot of women feel that way. A lot of women feel that way. But why are we talking about menstruation? Because we're talking about menstruation and there's a bunch of transgender, LGBTQ, non-binary advocates that feel the same way that trans did, that said what they said. This was an excellent opportunity for you with your big ass platform, with as known as you are, to address that shit head on. Nah, that motherfucker was out of line, out of order. I'm here to work together. Right? That's the whole point of this video, right? Work together. No, don't create any divide. And all you're doing is minimizing the impact that has on a lot of women.
For me, the second we're having political conversations about menstruation and who can and can't, we're objectifying people. We're reducing people to body parts. And when we reduce people to body parts and objectify them, that is dehumanizing. I find those conversations deeply dehumanizing. So I don't like to engage. I don't like to engage in conversations about bodily functions and reproductive capacities and biological essentialism. I just, for me, that stuff is so tired. It's tired. I'm 51 years old. I am 51 years old, and people are still having tired conversations about biological essentialism and that you are a woman if you can have a baby. All this stuff that is just ridiculous to me.
It's ridiculous to you because you can't disprove it. That's why it's tired. It's a fact. That's why everybody has an issue with it. You're warping reality to make yourself feel better. And since you can't prove a point, you can't prove that. You can't disprove the fact that you having the chromosomes that you have make you what you are. You can't disprove that. So only thing you can do is try to discredit it, but you can't. You can't discredit facts. Biological is essentialism. Like, what the hell is that? That's some trans LGBTQ woke term now. No, it's a fact. It's 2 + 2 = 4 will always be 4. We can make you feel like it's 5 if you want. If you find some people that will, do that for you. But at the end of the day, everybody knows it's 4. You yourself know it's 4. You just hate that it's 4, and you're gonna try to chip away at it as much to blind people. To warp their mind as much enough to make them feel like 2 + 2 really = 5. It's tired. I'm 51. I've been hearing the same thing over and over because it's never going to change. And you're going to hear that shit until you're in the grave. Matter of fact, when you go to the grave and they dig them bones up, they're not going to know that you was trans. They're going to know that you was born a man. That's the whole point. It's not dehumanizing. It's facts. It's biology. You can't confuse biology with how you feel, bruh. We're not going to put feelings over facts. We're not going to do that. Dehumanizing. No. If you are a male human, there's certain things that come with that. If you are a woman, there's certain things that come with that. And it's not dehumanizing to identify biologically and scientifically what those differences are. That's la la land.
There is some real shit going on, and we are fighting each other. We're coming for each other and coming for each other's womanhood and saying we're attacking this and that. Stop. Love each other. Disagree. We can disagree about something, but I can love you and I can see you and respect you. They're coming for all of us. If you're not a rich, if you're not a rich, heterosexual, white man and white woman who wants to be in collusion or in partnership with a white supremacist patriarchal system. How specific is that? If you're not a cisgender, heterosexual, rich, white man or white woman who wants to be in partnership with an imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal system, they're coming for you. And if you're that white woman who wants to be in partnership with that, they're coming for you too, girl.
That's interesting, man, because depending upon who you ask, they're going to give you an entirely different stance than that, bro, because there's a bunch of people out here that would argue that if you're not a minority, a woman, trans, of color, then they're coming for you. Right?
Stop. Love each other. Stop giving into the bullshit. My existence, me just wanting to exist on the planet is not a threat to you. And you wanting to exist on the planet is not a threat to me unless you want to take away my rights and take away my ability to exist on my own terms.
No one cares about your existence. The majority of people do not give a flying about your existence.